How's it going, everyone? My name is John Valadeo, and I'm back again to give my informative speech. It's a beautiful Friday morning, and what better way to explain how to cook the best tri-tip? Cooking is a passion of mine that I take very seriously. Even though I may not be attending a culinary school, as you guys can tell, I take pride in the meals, even if they are just for me or if I'm cooking for others. Growing up in a Portuguese household, it's kind of a religion to know how to cook. And what better way to cook when barbecuing? Because barbecuing is probably my favorite type of food. So my goal today in this speech is to teach you how to cook the best tri-tip or how to prepare it the best way you can. It also comes down to the preferences that you guys have, but this is how I personally like it. So without further ado, let's get started. The best type of tri-tip you're going to get is actually raised in California. Usually you figure that the best meat you're going to get is prepared in states like Oklahoma, Texas, all those southern states where raising cattle is, you're going to see that everywhere. But the best kind also to get is grass-fed cattle. You don't want to get any tri-tip that's fed with artificial mixtures or anything like that, because trust me, I've tasted those. It's nothing compared to grass-fed beef. So some fun facts about tri-tip. Those are some fun facts about tri-tip. So without further ado, here we go. Let's get started. To get started, when you buy your meat, you got to make sure you put that either in the freezer or in the fridge if you're going to cook it a day or two later. But what I do is if I buy it that day, that's the day I'm going to cook it. Buy it unseasoned. You want to buy it unseasoned because obviously it comes down to your preferences. There are certain tri-tips that are spicy. There are some that are very mild. But I like a little bit of a kick to mine. As I said, the day you buy is the day you cook. After going through the struggle of buying the best meat, going through all those lines in these convenience stores, it's time to prepare it. So when you use your seasoning, don't be afraid to go hard on it. I mean, there's people that will go with seasoning very little, and it doesn't add any flavor to the meat. So when you cook a tri-tip or when you prepare it, season as much as you want. Don't be afraid to go hard on it. So here are the type of seasonings that I get to use. So first off, I use Pappy's, and there you see it's the blue label. There are two different types of labels to this, and there's a blue label, there's a red label. The red label has a little bit of a kick to it, but the blue one's very mild. This is the one I like to use. It contains ingredients like salt, spice, sugar, paprika, and granulated onion. And then speaking of onion, put a little bit of onion powder on that too, but I finish it off with a nice garlic salt. I'm starting to run out on this a little bit because this can show you how much I use garlic salt on a lot of my meat. It adds a little bit of that texture to it, and it's just really, really good when you put it on, and it just seasons nice and well onto that meat when it's on the barbecue. And when you finally season your meat, don't rub it in. Pat it down into the meat and let it sit for a couple of minutes after you're done seasoning. You want to make sure that you get all the seasoning salts into the pores of that meat to make sure it holds it together nice and firm. Cooking tri-tip depends on how you like meat prepared as well. When you go into barbecuing, it's going to be based on if you like it well done, medium well, rare. And that's going to all depend on the heat you use when you have the meat on the barbecue. So personally, I like mine medium well. It's a little well done, just a little bit of pink of it. I'm personally a well done type of guy, but I can handle with a little bit of pink. So for my preference, when you leave it on the barbecue for medium well, you're going to leave the tri-tip cooking for 20 minutes on each side. When you leave that tri-tip cooking for 20 minutes, it's going to get a nice color consistently around the whole meat, and it's going to get a nice heat going through the meat when you're cooking. So as the meat cooks, this is my special, I wouldn't say ingredient, but tip. I get a bowl of melted butter, and the melted butter will be put on the tri-tip. Baste it as much as you can. It just adds that juiciness to the meat. And then that will eventually lead to, when you're officially done cooking the tri-tip, do not cut it right away. Let it sit for about 5-10 minutes to keep those juices intact, because when you cut open that meat right away after you cook it, all those juices are going to fall out. You want to make sure the juices stay into that tri-tip and that nothing comes out, because the juice is the best part, trust me. So there's no doubt that tri-tip is one of the most famous meats cooked in our world today. It is served all over the world and is considered to be one of the tastiest parts of the beef cow. Knowing facts about tri-tip can make steps in preparing the meat cooking way easier for any cook, which can lead to the best results in any way of cooking it. So guys, I hope you can take these tips awesomely. If you guys end up cooking tri-tip, let me know how it tastes. And if any of you guys want to meet up one day to cook some tri-tip, I am totally down for that. So thank you guys for listening. I look forward to watching all your guys' speeches. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See you guys.